The haters keep getting ratioed every time they speak out against Hogwarts Legacy. Try to support the boycott even more when it's too little too late. Honestly, far too late. You lost, guys. Haters, you lost. Take the L. Cry into the cup. Cry into it. I'm thirsty. I need refreshment. All right? They don't know how to end it. They keep getting themselves so heckin' ratioed. It's insane. And in this case, now a VTuber, a VTuber just embarrassed himself so bad and has gotten ratioed really bad. Let's go ahead and dive into this and have a look. So here's the ratios here, okay? Look at this. This is like, you know, some pretty big ratios considering the actual video itself has 180 likes. Of course, comments turned off. But here they said, oh yeah, I almost forgot that Western VTubers are on the list of toxic and unhinged pro-fascists. And then this one says supporting and directing harassment is against terms. All right, so let's go ahead and hear what this insufferable VTuber has to say.
It's hard to care, but it's also potentially a little bit dangerous not to care at the moment. These people are getting completely insane.
Of course, it's a male voice, all right? This is just, they want to talk about how, all these whacktivists want to talk about how toxic masculinity is. The most toxic men I ever see, social media or otherwise, are the very feminine men, okay? That's who's being toxic. That's who's emulating women and picking up every single one of our worst traits and using it as a personality. Okay? That's what they do. All right? This is just insane. Let's just continue.
You think the rhetoric against trans kids is bad now?
Oh my gosh. Trans kids do not exist. There is no such thing. Let children be children. The fact that it is controversial to even say that is lunacy. Any normal person, any normal human being outside of this insane Twitter sphere knows this, okay? Promoting the mutilation of children, all right? Chemically counts as well. I don't care what they want to say. They want to act like these hormone blockers don't harm kids or anything like that. They do. You cannot postpone puberty and expect it to be healthy. This is just ridiculous. Or, oh, okay, we can start it back up again and everything's going to happen as normal. No, it's not. All right? So hormone blockers, little girls as young as 11 years old. This has happened. They will try to deny it, but it's even on websites. They were caught in 4K with it, even promoting it. All right. So don't even give me this didn't happen thing. Cause that's one thing this woke mob loves to do is they love to pretend like things don't happen, even though they were the ones pioneering for these things. All right. Young girls getting their breast tissue removed. Okay. Having stitches right here, all this stuff. Not to mention what hormones do. And just mentally, okay? Gender dysphoria is not a positive thing. That's why I don't understand this whole transphobe argument, because gender dysphoria is a bad thing, okay? It's a mentally bad thing. People in a perfect world can accept themselves how they were born and how they are. That is what we should be promoting with people. Mental health, good, positive mental health. We should be encouraging people to love themselves, have a healthy self-esteem. And if you feel like you have to change your entire gender, that's not it. Gender dysphoria is a bad thing. But a lot of people who are hopping on board with transgender ideology and calling themselves transgender even, a lot of them are trans trenders. It's not even real, because the statistical jump just reflects that so much. I mean, it reached a point, especially, I mean, now the pendulum's swinging a little bit, but it reached a point to where, hey, when someone was coming out as transgender, they were being celebrated. I mean, all the flags everywhere, it was celebrated, okay? How would it be if we started celebrating eating disorders, right? These young girls who aren't eating and are getting themselves down to like 70 pounds and all that, How would that be if we started celebrating that? How is this different than that? I don't understand. And that's another reason why this whole transphobe argument is just, it just doesn't have legs, because it's like, I'm not going to celebrate a mental illness. You can still care about people who have a mental illness or have a mental problem, but to celebrate it, that just makes no sense. So someone with an eating disorder, for example, they're going to say, oh, you're an anaphobe. Okay, call me an anaphobe, because I don't think that girls should be starving themselves, or guys, but it's just more prevalent in girls. So call me an anaphobe, sure. Does that mean I hate every single person who has an eating disorder or who's Anna, which I'm not saying the full word because I don't know. YouTube monetization and stuff is just really finicky, but y'all know what I mean. Anna Rex. Okay. So yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I can say that what you're doing isn't healthy. It isn't good for you. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to care about you as a human being, but it's just accepting the fact that it's not healthy. And so what if the Anna community was pushing it on, was celebrating it, and all of a sudden these young kids grooming young kids into it? I mean, it's not healthy. And it's the same thing with transgender ideology. It's not healthy. And it's not something that we should be pushing on children, and we should be encouraging. We shouldn't even be encouraging it with adults, but you can still support an adult's decision to do whatever the heck they want. They don't need our validation for that. And that's also not a stipulation of if we will see them as human beings, but still, come on. We have to start drawing the line somewhere if we are called phobic and haters and stuff like this for not parading and not championing a mental disorder, an issue, like something that isn't a positive thing, not affirming something that is honestly terrible. It must be awful to actually suffer with that for those who do. And there's obviously some who just want attention from it, but that's another
It's gonna get really fucking gross in the next year. Brace yourselves, it's going to get worse. I know things are scary right now. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it is gonna get worse. People are standing up against this. It's not actual hate, though. It's people just saying, okay, wait a minute. We have to stop celebrating this. We have to start encouraging people to try to love themselves for who they are. Whatever they're gonna do as an adult, they're gonna do, but we don't have to validate it, okay? And then especially we have to put an end to this with children. Children should not be having these discussions. Children need to just be children, and then they can figure their own lives out when they're an adult.
At least we have the Harry Potter video game to fight about. People are so silly about that. Oh no, I got harassed for playing the wizard game, and it's like, yeah, shut up. Suck it up. If you honestly are playing that game and didn't expect to get a little flack from it, it means you literally have not been listening to Jewish people, you have not been listening to trans people, you have not been listening to anybody about the...
Apparently you haven't been, because there are a lot of trans people and Jews who are playing the game, okay? You don't get to speak for everybody and tell people what to be offended over, okay? The whole thing with especially with the Jewish side of the argument, just makes zero sense. They are the ones who are telling Jews to be offended. They're the ones being racist because they think that goblins look like Jews. I don't think anybody would have ever made that connection except for actual racist people, because I'm telling you, I could live 1,000,000 years on this earth and see all of these goblins. It never would have ever crossed my freaking mind. Same thing with people who act like any sort of primate, mystical, like fantastical primate type class or race in a game, how they associate those with black people. Who would have even thought that if it wasn't said? Who would have even, what normal person would have even thought that? It's like they're racist and they're telling on themselves.
The problems with JK fucking Rowling and the goddamn Wizarding World of Harry Potter. If you honestly thought you could just play that on stream and not have somebody be like, hey, could you not? Could you not? The woman actively has said,
could you just mind your own business, my guy? Can you mind your own business, maybe?
Out loud that she gives money that she receives as proceeds, the royalties on the games like that, she gives them directly to the same people that are...
Dude, and the way that he's moving his VTuber, he's trying to make the jiggle physics go up. It's like it's deliberate.
Hounding trans kids in Texas. So fuck her. And if you stream it, fuck you. Oh, so I'm doing it to support the devs.
Crime
The devs have
war.
been paid. Shut up. That argument doesn't make sense. Oh, it's my nostalgia. Cool. Go reread the books on your bookshelf. I also see the argument that it's like, oh, well, you know, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And it's like, yes, darling, of course. I think you misunderstand.
This is just so cringe. This is what happens when you feed too many men soy. Okay, it's what happens when you tell men to stop eating meat and you feed them a bunch of soy, a bunch of cereal, a bunch of beer, all that. Like, this is what freaking happens. I talk about nutrition all the time. And there's a reason. It will affect you. It will affect you mentally. And I do not, call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't care. I think this push against red meat, especially, is partially an attack on men. They don't want men to have high testosterone. They want men to be feminine and easily manipulated. Because, I mean, look what happens. So catty. So ridiculous. Like I said earlier, taking all the worst traits of women and adopting them as their own personality. Insufferable. Some of the most worst people I've ever interacted with have been those soy male feminist types. It's just not healthy. I don't even want to hear anyone talk about toxic masculinity, because we need more masculinity, because this is toxic.
How that phrase is supposed to be used. No ethical consumption under capitalism indicates that we, by necessity, must participate in the cruel machinery of capitalism in order to sustain ourselves with food and shelter and housing, not with video games. So, if you can forego a morally, an ethically dubious purchase, by all means forego it. I entreat you. That's my soapbox, and I'll get off it now.
For the love of Glob, eat a steak and lift some weights. Please. Go hunting. Learn how to hunt. Learn how to fish. Just, oh my gosh. Do something different. This is just embarrassing. Yeah, so whenever you get pushback and you see people on Twitter or anywhere else on social media giving you a hard time about playing Hogwarts Legacy, or maybe because you don't champion people putting hormones in their bodies or people mutilating their bodies through surgeries, whatever that may be, people giving you a hard time and stuff, there's a little bit of a visual representation. Obviously, the hiding behind a 3D image, okay? So if we actually saw the reality of the situation, probably would be worse. But just at least hearing the voice of the haters puts a lot into perspective, okay? We should not be bowing down to any of these people. A lot of them, now some people are brainwashed into the whole movement, the woke movement, all that kind of stuff, and they'll wake up eventually, I think. But I think this far in the game, and for how much woke ideology has been exposed for how evil it really is and how satanic it actually is. Look at cancel culture just trying to absolutely ruin people's lives. How the promoting mutilating children and even adults. That's bad to even promote it with adults, right? Every single thing that you see in the Bible, everything that you see that the woke ideology pioneers, everything that they champion is against the Bible. It is a direct contradiction of the Bible. So you can't tell me it's not satanic. It is. All right? So don't let these people stop you from using your voice, because this is it's this type of people who are trying to stop you. Okay? We need to start encouraging more healthy nutrition. That's gotta help. That can only help. Eat healthy. Start lifting weights. Go to the gym. Do some walking. Eat some meat. Throw away your rabbit foods. especially throw away all that soy and cereal, and as delicious as it is, but just this is a byproduct of poor nutrition. This is a deliberate thing. And it's not only just poor nutrition though. It's poor nutrition, and it's everything that is just being brainwashed into children and honestly adults alike. So something's got to give, man. I don't even care. People call me a phobe. I don't care. I just dealt with that yesterday when a streamer came after me in the replies of a Hogwarts Legacy tweet, which I'm not going to show it because I'm not even going to give them any attention that they want. But it's a fairly big streamer who came after me, called me a transphobe. You're a transphobe, and not just because you play the game or whatever. And I'm like, okay. They got ratioed to oblivion, and it wasn't because I shared it, because I didn't. I even just saw it because of all the replies and how much they got ratioed, and a ton of the people ratioing said streamer didn't even follow me. But at this point, it's like, okay, what are they going to do? Call you a phobe? Good, let them. I don't care anymore. But anyway, this is just where we're at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.